What's up, guys? Emily here with emlovz, documenting my platonic date number 6. This was actually with an industry contact that I've spoken with before, and I wanted to include it because I think meeting people through the industry you work in is actually a great way to find people who are super compatible with you. So you can use this strategy for platonic relationships, for romantic relationships, although I have a whole strategy around it, and you have to be very careful because the Me Too movement and all these things, you got to be very careful that you're not doing anything offensive. If you're looking for help on how to take maybe a business contact and turn it into a romantic relationship, I can definitely help you through that. Check out my website at emlovz.com and you can learn more about my coaching program where I can help you with those types of things. But I wanted to do a test where I actually connect with people I have respect for, either in my industry or in a closely related industry. So I reached out to this person. It's the second time I've reached out to them. The first time I reached out to them, we had a call during COVID and talked about, he did an experiment similar to my experiment. I had a lot of respect for that. He's also a TED Talk speaker. And so I was like a little bit in awe of him and a little bit nervous around him. But really at the end of the day, we're all the same. Like, we're all humans. And so because of this process, I'm really learning to put myself out there more. And so I follow his email chain, and he was launching a new course, and I was like, oh, maybe we could connect on that and work together in some way. But also just I have a lot of respect for him and I would love to be friends with him. And so I invited him to have a conversation with me and really to see how we might collaborate. But at the same time, I would love to make friends and really develop relationships with people who not only have done similar things to what I've done, like similar experiments, who think the same way as I think, but also leaders who are, leaders in their space. And, so anyways, I invited him to a call. I did have his phone number and I sent him a text, and I did not get a response, but I didn't take it personally because his whole thing is about, you don't want to be rejected, and you should be comfortable getting rejected. And it's really important to practice rejection. And so because of that, I was like, well, let me send him an email. So all I did was I copied and pasted the exact same text message I had sent him, and I sent it to him on email. And so it took 2 tries, but he said yes to meeting up with me, and we had a conversation. And I think it was an interesting conversation because he's kind of in a similar space, but he looks at the world very differently. He has a different perspective than I do. He looks at things from, an engineer mindset. And I did really like the conversation. I'm acutely aware of how can I further this relationship in an organic way? I don't want it to feel forced. I don't want to necessarily only connect on business. It would be cool to form relationships that were more meaningful. And it did feel a little bit, in fact, all of the friend dates or whatever that I've had have felt that are coming from a similar industry that I work in have felt very different than the people that I've met on Bumble BFF. And I think overall, and it could probably be my approach to it, but I think overall, meeting people through your professional industry, as of yet, now I don't want to blanket statement this because I haven't had enough reference experiences, but as of right now, it just feels very guarded. If I can be honest, it does not feel vulnerable. And of course, that's because you're coming from the professional mind. But I wonder if through this experiment, I'll be able to help to bridge the gap from a professional connection to being more of a friend connection, because at the end of the day, I would love to collaborate with him, but I also just want to surround myself with people who think like I do, who think of experiments and want to learn about others and themselves through experiments. So I will have to think of something, so this whole thing is really about making yourself more proactive. So I'm going to have to think of some reason why we should meet up again. And we kind of loosely said, oh, let's connect in a week or two and find basically a reason to collaborate. So I will have to either think of a reason to collaborate or something that makes sense. And I will also think of a value add for him. That's really important if you're dating specifically, but also for any relationship, is like, how could I add value to this person's life? What did we talk about that would help them? Right. And it seems a little bit weird to always be thinking about the other person, but MegaDating kind of forces you to think less about yourself and more about others. Like, what value could I bring to this person's life that would make them see me as a valuable resource and somebody that they want to be connected to? And I think that's really common in any relationship, is like, you're each getting value from each other. Maybe that's a question I should ask myself, is like, what value do I see from if we were to form a friendship or even a working relationship, what value do I think that he would bring to my life? And I don't know. I guess I haven't really asked myself that question. I just think it's so cool when people think about things similarly to how I think about things. And I found also it's really hard to connect with other entrepreneurs. You'd think that because we have so much in common that we would be like two peas in a pod, but I think entrepreneurs are always working and always hustling and always thinking about business. And so that actually can be challenging to form connections based on that, unless your businesses somehow, they work together or something. So an interesting thing. I definitely feel like there's some reservations, there's like, it's like there's a wall in people when I meet them in working relationships. It feels like there's a wall between us. And I would love to, throughout this experiment, learn how to bring those walls down. And usually when you find something like that in an experiment like this, it's actually coming from you. So I'm sure that that's coming from me. And I just have to uncover why I feel guarded. And I think in that case, I was like a little bit intimidated by him because he's like a TED Talk speaker, and like, that's so silly. Like, that doesn't mean that he's more valuable than me, but I'm definitely intimidated. And so that might be something that shows up for you in romantic relationships when you're like, she's like out of my league or whatever. And so part of that process is like, okay, how do I get over this like starstruck feeling and just get real, and what is it about this person that I want to connect to? And why do I think that they could add value to my life as well? So I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to see if I can make it make sense to reach out again and like have it feel good and have it be really organic and authentic, rather than me just being like, hey, hang out with me because you're so cool. Like, I need to also look at, what do I bring to the table? What can I bring to the relationship? And why is it that I think he's out of my league anyway? Right? It's interesting. If you're looking for dating and romantic help on your dating journey, if you're interested in doing an experiment like this, but for dating romantically, I can definitely help you with that. Head on over to my website at emlovz.com and you can learn more about my coaching program. You can also check out my free masterclass, which is linked below this video. And that wraps up this video. If you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment in the comments below. And if you're doing your own experiment, I want to hear about it in the comments below. So please let me know. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.